So some of the common questions we get in real estate from buyers, why is the seller sell? By the way, I'm not saying you should tell the buyers why the homeowner is selling, but you should be prepared how you're going to say it. You don't want to, like, so why are the sellers selling? You go, well, there's a change happening in their life. So make sure you're articulate with the answer. How long? Because if they're getting divorced, right? How
I
would
would
you say
never
that?
tell them, because then it's bad vibe in the house. Also, if they're upgrading to a bigger house, I will never say that. I just say they want to be closer to work, even though they just move a block away.
That's whatever. Say it's still a block closer.
Hey everyone, welcome to our webinar today with the amazing Darryl. Hi Darryl. Thanks.
Hello, Catherine, darling dear.
So good to see you again. So you're going to talk to us today about what?
I am so excited. As a matter of fact, I just jumped off a 2.5-hour coaching call, and doing this one, Catherine, is something we did for our power agents in our coaching program on how to get a surge of listings from one open house. It is a fire hose of content. And so I'm excited to do this.
Awesome. I'm excited to listen. So let's get started. I know you have a lot to cover.
Yes, gang, listen, if you got, here's what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to do a little opening here. First of all, I suggest you take a lot of notes. So if you don't have something to write with right now, do that. This is a training session, and we're going to go through a whole bunch of stuff. Also, if you have any questions, you can write it in the panel. And if Catherine sees that it's urgent, she'll interrupt me. If not, we'll save it to the end, and we're like this. Also, for those of you, if you want to follow and stay in touch with my company, our social media is Darryl Speaks. It doesn't matter. YouTube, the website, Pinterest, any of them, Darryl Speaks. There we go. Oh, one other thing for the lab coat. Everybody jot down that website, darrylspeaks.com/trial. Everything on that screen, we're giving away for $5. $5. Ooh, that's a good deal. Okay.
That is a deal.
It's a deal. Okay, now, here's that, and there's the website at the bottom as well. Okay. The 4 P's to a successful public open house. This is what we're going to go over is preparation, promotion, presentation, and then, of course, post open house. You like how I did that, Catherine, with the 4 P's?
Yes, absolutely.
Took me a while. Took me a while to figure that out. I had needed P's. All right. So here, let's do the first P, which is preparation. In preparing for your open house, here's a few things. You should have a checklist. Am I right, Catherine? It's important to systemize your business. Mm-hmm. You know, what you want to do is be able to easily manage an open house and make sure, write it down. If you don't have a checklist like we give our students, then create a checklist for yourself to get ready, which, by the way, it's always great if you're ever going to have an assistant as well. But it's called time management, gang. Here's a criteria to consider when doing an open house. Like if you can get a house that fits all these criteria, it's going to help you. So, for example, if it's new to the market, open houses are really awesome when they're hitting the market for the first time, because it's fresh. Everybody wants something fresh. There's buyers that are currently waiting, hoping for a new house to come out, especially in the thin market that we've been. By the way, Catherine, how's Miami doing right now as far as inventory? Is it starting to go up a little bit? Have you seen, or is it staying the same or going down? What?
So the market under 500,000, multiple offers still above asking price. We have very low inventory. The higher price ranges have slowed down a tiny little bit, but not much. Okay.
Yeah, certain parts of the country, they're starting to see a little bit of a correction where things are sitting on the market a little bit. One of our coaching questions today, somebody said, Darryl, I had a listing for 4 months, hasn't sold, and we're trying to think how to give a little bit of extra activity on it. Mm-hmm. Second thing, if it's a non-gated neighborhood for an open house, it's better. It just makes it easier to get people in. Of course, if you've got a listing and it's a gated neighborhood, you can't move the house. I'm saying if you have a choice and you're going to do an open house to shake the trees for business, this is a good criteria. Another criteria, close to a major streets, visible location. Think like a billboard. They don't put billboards on the side street. Where do they put it? On the main street. So where the more cars there are activity, the better it's going to be for you. You'll see why in a minute. And also, if it's priced to sell, the more aggressive the price is. Now, are you going to get all these bullets? Maybe, maybe not. But the more of these bullets you have the criteria, the better. If you are a new agent that has no listings and you need to shake the trees and generate some business, consider asking another agent in the office, hey, listen, can I do an open house on your listing and I will pay you a referral fee? Catherine, do you ever have agents, because you're a big agent in Florida, you're the #1 agent, right, for Keller in the state of Florida, am I right? Solo agent?
2018 and 2019. Last year was only number 3.
What the hell's wrong with you? What'd you do? Take a break? Would you went to sleep in 2020?
I had a coffee, and just sat down doing nothing.
Well, maybe if you stop buying those investment properties up in the retreats, I know that you're doing as well. You're an amazing woman. Anyway, have you ever had an agent come to you, Catherine, and say, and what do you do for them when they say, can I do an open house? How do you work it?
I don't let other agents do my open houses.
You're selfish too. Because
Because
let's go on.
I have a certain standard and I have my own people do the open houses.
All right, I can respect that. I can respect that. Well, anybody that's watching now, if you're in the Miami area, don't ask Catherine because she's not going to help you. All right, so let's continue on with the preparation. My gosh, Catherine, if you want to go get something to eat while I do the rest of the webinar, it's fine. Okay, the next is use only open house. Oh, yes, use the open house as an opportunity to stage your photos and your listing. I know some of you got these listings where when you ring the doorbell, it goes woof, woof. So some of these homeowners, you can trick the homeowner. You see, trick the homeowner. So we're going to do an open house. And the best way to do an open house is if we can make it showroom ready. You see, so when the homeowner is getting his showroom ready, then you can actually use those photos in your MLS. Now, obviously, doing an open house, you've already had it on MLS, you already have photos, you swap out the photos with the better photos. One of the things you can do, we give this to our power agents, is a checklist on items and suggestions on what the homeowner can do to make their property more attractive and staging it. Also, for some items, for some homeowners, doing minor repairs before an open house is a good idea as well, giving them that value-added thing. And by the way, Catherine, you're a power agent. We tell our these slides are from the training class I did with our power agents. We tell them where to get all this stuff in the servicing chapter of the website for the power agents. But let's continue on the preparation.
Value, by the way, amazing. The stuff that Darryl and his team provide are truly amazing.
Thank you. We work really hard. We're very proud of it, what we've got going there as far as the number of support, training material and stuff. All right. Now, here's an idea. I love this idea, Catherine. Schedule your open house before, after other common open houses. So, for example, in some markets, and this is a market thing, right? Like where I live, common thing to do in the open house is 12 to 2 or 11 to 1. It's a common thing. So if that's the common thing, be uncommon. So if you do before the other open house, let's say if you're in my market where it's 11 to 1 as a guy, maybe you do 10 to 2 or do noon to 4 is another example. So try and stand out and be separate, because then you'll capture more buyers. I'm telling you, gang. In a hot seller's market, consider a longer time. Why do we think 2 hours, man? Why wouldn't you do an open house all day? If you've got tons of buyers out there, multiple offers, the longer you have yours, can you imagine a stall, a coffee shop saying, you know what, let's just be open limited number of hours because we don't want that many customers. If this is a hot market, keep your store open. When you're doing an open house, your open house during that time is a store. It's a business. Keep it open, man. Get as many buyers. Does that make sense, Catherine?
Yeah, and you can also do what you said with the time frame. If they do 12 till 2, you still want to capture the people that go to the other open houses, but be a little bit before and after gets you all the clients that don't go to the other open houses.
Exactly.
All the other open houses.
Exactly. Think about proper signage. Now, depending, where your property is, like a condominium, is a different thing. But let me show you something, Catherine. I don't think you've seen this. This is a little behind the scenes. My company, when I was an agent, we were the #1 listing and selling office on Long Island in the Oceanside market. And I'm going to tell you, there's a couple of reasons why this right here was one of the secret weapons. We had these signs made up, like a poster board, flip chart paper, that size sign. And we would hang it. Now, it's a bad photo because it's black and white, because that's how old I am. It was before color film was invented. So here, this is Liz. Liz was one of my agents in the office that I managed. And at the top of it had the company logo. I know you're squinting, Don. I know. That's the logo. By the way, it was a horrible logo. I always hated it. Mac Levitt Realty, MLR. That was it. Then it had open house. And then it had the address. And we would hang them on telephone poles. And Catherine, here was the cake. We hung them not eye level. See, Liz, she was a little short. You're supposed to hang them up high, because when you're 50 yards down the road, then it's eye level when it goes high, you see. Here's an example. I did a color one on one of my investment properties that I flipped. So I did an open house. It's missing the logo and the company phone number. But this was how the fluorescent arrow directed people. Our office policy, Catherine, was to hang out a minimum of 10 per open house. So we were a big listing office, so we might have like 6 open houses in one day. So we'd have a minimum of 60 signs on a Saturday, and then again on Sunday. Let me tell you something, Catherine. You ever went into a listing of FSBO in my marketplace? Have you ever heard of Mac Levitt Realty? They say, I see your signs every weekend. It was great advertisement. It dragged buyers in. It's a little extra work, but man, oh man, oh man, it pays off. It drags people.
I bet you got leads while hanging up those signs too, because people drop by and ask questions.
Exactly. And plus they see, look at this agent dressed in a 3-piece suit and he's hanging at the thing, but this guy's a worker over here. So it was good. You're right, Catherine. We were workers. Now I tell agents, because some agents, I know they're not going to be as crazy as I am on the street hanging signs. So I tell them, one of the minimum things you can do, Dee Signs has the largest sign. You'll see it there, 11 feet flag. Go to Dee Signs and have special signs made up like that. If you put those out on the corners and maybe a couple other blocks and bring people in, that's a lot better than those balloons that fly away and you can barely see it until you're right on top of the damn balloon. Okay, gather your neighborhood list, because we're going to do an open house. We're still in preparation. How are we doing on time? Boy, I got a lot to cover. Cold directory is the original directory of information of people. Like, you can buy a list of your farm area with how many people live in the house, do they own a pool, what their income level. I mean, you get really down on them. It's a little expensive, but there's another option. I know LabCoat is really big on the RedX system, as we are here at Power Headquarters. And RedX has this thing called Geo Leads, where you can type in an address, and then it gives you a list of all the people around the address. And then you can download the list into an Excel file. You now own the list, and you can, so it's a one-time bada bing, and then you can do whatever you want with the list. You can mail, you can call, etc. All right. I love this. Now, when I started teaching this back in 1993, Catherine, I don't think anybody did this. Now I hear it more and more. And that's a neighborhood open house. Let me explain for those that don't know what the neighborhood open house is. It is an open house for the neighbors, hence the term. But here's what's very important to understand. You invite the neighbors before you do a public open house, because now you get ready. So when you do a public open house, who shows up time is the nosy neighbors, and they don't tell you they're a neighbor. They lie to you. They say, oh, we were just driving in the area. Meanwhile, they were living right next door. They just did that because they're a little nosy. So what you do, watch this now. Before the public open house, you mail to all the neighbors a wedding invitation piece. We actually created, Catherine, you're a Power Agent, Catherine.
Yes,
this is sometimes
you taught that to me like a few weeks ago, and we used it. And 3 neighbors showed up from the invitation. It was really
awesome. I'm telling you, it's a great, see, there you go. Power Agent testimonial right there. Mm-hmm. Now, let me tell you how this is. We created, this is on an Avery. What does it say at the bottom? It says Avery 3266. I had my team design a Microsoft Word version of the wedding invitation piece. And it says on there, it may be hard to read. It says Avery 3266. Now, what happens if you're a Power Agent, right? You have this already laid out for you. So then you just type in the address and your contact information and you print it on Avery and then you mail it out. Now, here's the part I want to point out to everybody. You're personally invited to a neighborhood open house. As the homeowners will not be present, I will provide a personal tour at the home. If you mail out 50 invitations to neighbors saying the homeowner is not going to be home, so I'm going to do the tour, you're going to have 50 neighbors showing up. Now, here's what's beautiful. When they come, you're not trying to sell them the house because they're not buyers. You'll tour, you'll show them the house, you'll ask questions. How long have you lived in there? So you're in the area, guys, great, let me take you through the house. Do you have a similar style? What kind of style do you have? How many bedrooms you have? Have you ever thought about moving? If you were going to move, where would you move to? Why don't I do this? I don't mind. When I find the time I come over, we give you a market analysis. Every home should have that done at least once a year. If you have 50 people come over, you should have 50 CMAs generated from this idea. Bada bing. Mic drop. Here's the next one. How are we doing? Are we having fun, Catherine?
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
All right. Here's the next thing. Awesome. Create an open house flyer and other promotion pieces. This is basically what, of course you want nice flyers. I like this particular flyer that we give our students because it has the main photo and then it has some little reminders about the property. So that's what I like about this one. You can do also promotional pieces, social media. So you want to, when you're promoting your open house, you want to have all of your marketing material, not just printed stuff, postcards, social media, that kind of stuff. Let me skip this. These are my slides from the student training. Okay. So here's the next thing. Box brownie. Have you ever used them, Catherine?
Yes, I've used them.
Tell people, what do you think?
So it's virtual staging. So if you have sellers that don't want to spend the money for real staging, this is kind of the cheaper version. Their turnaround is pretty quick. It's 24 hours. They can only do dusk to dawn pictures. They can change the color of the water, the color of the sky. So a pretty cool service. I like it a lot.
Here's an example. So here's some photos, like the ones on the left is before, the ones on the right are after. So you'll see a vacant house at the top, then you see, let me do vacant room there, but nice furniture. It gives you some ideas as to where with that, maybe I should decorate like that. And then over to the left, you've got the kids. Obviously, that's a kid's room or disturbed adult with the Smurfs. And then over to the right, you oh, hello. Then you clean it up with virtually erase it. You can erase furniture and put new furniture in. Box brownie, love it. Now, by the way, just FYI, any of you do these kind of virtual photos, you've got to do a little disclaimer because you don't want to shock people. Like they go into a bedroom on the right and they see Attack of the Smurfs. So you got to warn people that it's edited. So going on right here, more preparation is be prepared to answer questions. When you're doing your open house, you got to be prepared. I got to tell you something, Catherine. April and I, that's my better half. We were thinking about moving. We decided to stay. We're jumping all of our money to fix our current house. But anyway, when we were looking at houses, I mean, I was so saddened by the lack of knowledge that agents, I ask them questions like, what does this thing do here? And they go, oh, I don't know. Nobody ever asked me that before. I wanted this. You're getting paid tens of thousands of dollars. You should know what that little button does over there. So make sure that you're prepared to answer questions. So some of the common questions we get in real estate from buyers, why is the seller selling? By the way, I'm not saying you should tell the buyers why the homeowner is selling, but you should be prepared how you're going to say it. You don't want to, like, so why are the sellers selling? You go, well, there's a change happening in their life. So make sure you're articulate with the answer. How long? Because if they're getting divorced, right? How
I
would
would
you say
never
that?
tell them because then it's bad vibe in the house. Also, if they're upgrading to a bigger house, I will never say that. I just say they want to be closer to work, even though they just move a block away.
That's whatever. It's still a block closer. So there's an example. If they're going through divorce, you don't want to tell them it's a divorce, but have an answer for that question. So you're not hemming and hawing and doing the Irish jig with you're confused on how to tell. How long has the home been on the market? What do you say to that? Yeah, I know some of you like, if it's been on the market for 60 days, they'll think, oh, it's not a good house. So don't say, well, it's been on the market for 60 days, but I think it's a good house. Like, don't get defensive. Anyway, have there been any recent improvements or renovations? How much are the utilities? You should know. People might ask that. Say, I don't know. It's like $100 a month, maybe. Have they gotten any offers? Yeah. Okay. Why are the sellers planning? When are the sellers planning to close? Oh, they're in no hurry. You be careful, because that's also telling them they're not committed, saying, they're willing to work with the buyer. So have good answers for these things. What does this do, or how does this work? That's the one that really got me crazy, Catherine, when they didn't know what the button did. So I had to press the button to figure it out.
Oh, really? Did the button slap you?
Well, you know what it was? No, what it was it was a sunroom, and it had a glass. It was beautiful. And the glass had this lever and this motor. And I was like, how do you open? Like, I didn't see a crank to open the thing. It was electronic based on the temperature. When the room got too hot, it automatically opened. See, that was a selling feature. The agent, I don't know. Nobody ever asked me that before. I had to figure it out. I read the instruction book that was hanging right next to it. My goodness. Be familiar with the area. U.S. News, best high school store. One of this thing with the steering, people are like, you're not allowed to say, well, how are the schools, right? Let me just calm down. Let me tell you something. There's factual information out there that you can direct people to when they talk about, are you familiar with the area, or how is the schools? Tell them, well, good resources, maybe the U.S. News best high schools that they have. So you can go there. Here's a link to it, okay? So be familiar with the area.
I think if you don't know the schools, I mean, that annoys me. When agents host open houses for other agents and they don't know the school zone, please look that stuff up. That is really embarrassing. And then when you give them the school zone, just tell them, listen, this is what is assigned right now, but we don't take any liability. Make sure to look it up on your own, because there's people that bought houses based on a school zone the agent gave them, and then it was a different school zone and it ended up in a lawsuit. So you got to be very careful on that too.
Because that's so true. Like where I live, for example, Catherine, there's the Shoreham Wading River School District, there's the Riverhead, and there's some houses, the address is Shoreham Wading River, which is a really great school district as far as U.S. News. And then the Riverhead School District, not so, totally different school district, but they share the same town. So you got to know your area. And here's the point. What Catherine is saying, just highlight this, is that I said it before, I'm going to say it again. When you're getting paid tens of thousands of dollars for one transaction, you should never have come out of your mouth, I don't know.
If you don't know, you should say, I find out for you.
Exactly, at best. Yeah. So create a frequently asked questions about your house. So this is something we created for our power agents recently, but let me just show you a couple of things. How old are the appliances? How old is the roof? What type of heating? How much of the utilities usually run? Now, these are good questions. Like you might have that already in perhaps the remarks section of the MLS. I'm saying, wouldn't it be nice as a flyer promotional piece to have an FAQ flyer that makes it real simple for people? They don't have to dig and try and find the information, is the point. You can put this on the back of a promotional flyer if you want. We're still on tip one, which step one is preparation. Create signage to highlight best features. This is an old technique that we haven't done, and I think we should bring it back, where when you're going through the house, you can spotlight. Now, for example, some of our power agents, this is an example where they created like a little board that showed things like the area, the school district, some other positive features, pricing about the property. Here's another example: features, address, schools in the area, where they're located, listings nearby. But one of the things that we created for the power agents, Catherine, are these little signages that you would put in acrylic easels that you buy on Amazon. And you, like, for example, welcome to open house, look around, ask questions, fall in love, make an offer. Here's another one. Welcome to the open house, fall in love, just a different version of that one. If you're COVID friendly, you're concerned, wherever you can have a couple of those signs we created for our COVID friendly agents. Special features include the text here. So if it has new granite tops, you put a little sign, say, hey, new granite tops there. So put the sign, so new carpet, wall to wall, things like that. Hardwood floor, real hardwood floor, high-end engineer floor. So any of those little features, put them as signage like you might even see in new construction. We can so do that in our current resale properties. Here's another one of our students who did a little signing thing. Welcome, look around, ask yourself, fall in love, make an offer, blah, blah, blah. So a nice little greeting to your open house. Give them some, thanks for popping by. You see, they did there with the popcorn. You get it? Okay, continuing. Ooh, this looks fun. What is that? Yummy. That's a mozzarella. That's mozzarella and basil with a little balsamic vinegar and tomato. I'm already hungry. By the way, I skipped lunch, Catherine. So that's why it's exciting. What's that?
I had pizza.
You know, I'm so jealous. You always get your daily pizza. Every time we do these webinars, you had pizza somehow. All right. I have pizza. I had 10 pounds on me. All right. Preparation. Arrange food with a local vendor for the high-end listings and or party open house format. So if you're going to have, sometimes agents will do a party atmosphere. If it's a high-end property, we've seen the multi-millions, you know, so have it catered. Give a little shout out to the caterer because they're going to give you a discount, maybe even do it for free if you can negotiate that. You know, just have a nice spread of greeting as a possibility. Also, deep clean the house before or after, if that's important to you. I think it should be. Property brochure flyers with the room layout labeled. That's important. Let me tell you something, just having the photos of your listings, I think it's really super valuable that you label the room, because I'm telling you from a buyer experience, because I was just a buyer myself, is that when you're seeing all these houses, you can still get overwhelmed. But just having a photo of a bedroom, I know it's obvious to you, it's a bedroom, but is it the upstairs bedroom? Is it bedroom downstairs? So I highly suggest that you label all of your photos always. Have a loan officer create a mortgage payment sheet for you to help spotlight the house and make it easier for people to make a decision. It's also a good form for your promotion of your loan officer, and they're promoting you at the same time. Create a branded value piece. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let me skip over this. Oh, the value piece. So Catherine, one of the open houses I went to.
I use yours.
You love this? Do you use this?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me tell you what this is. So one of the open houses that we went to, the agents gave away these little tchotchkes. You know, they gave away the pen and the magnets in a bag and a little brochure about buying new construction in this neighborhood. So it was good. It was good. But one of the things we created for power agents, so I think you should do that. But what we did for our power agents is we created a buyer's guide of real estate. This thing is like 30 some odd pages. And that's a great piece to give to buyers that come into your open house. And here's why, because it is so in depth, so much breadth to this thing that it adds credibility. It's almost like a little book just for buyers on how to buy real estate. It's actually, I think, more than 38 pages. So creating some kind of piece, or like our students where they customize it and printing that out is just elevates your credibility with those buyers when they walk in. Plus it's informative as well. We did another one. I love this one. This is a seller's guide. If you do the neighborhood open house, you should have one just for the sellers, showing them if you're thinking about selling your house, here is some of the most important things you should know and understand of what's happening and how an agent can actually help. So having a seller's guide to give to people who are current sellers in the marketplace.
Sorry to interrupt you, but highly analytical people will die for those guides. They will eat them up letter by letter. So a high D will just overfly it, but the analytical people, they love those.
Absolutely. You'll see people fighting for it to be like, oh, can I get one of those? Sometimes they'll say, can I get a sec? I have a sister who's thinking about buying. Can I get one for her too? All right. So any kind of checklist too. These are just value pieces we give to our students. But the concept I'm trying to teach you here, gang, is have value pieces. Now, I'll tell you something. We're Power headquarters here. We're very passionate about children. We have our own charity called America's Hope for America's Children that we donated proceeds or our revenue to that. So, and the reason why I'm pausing on this concept just for a second, I just want to do a shout out that what I know through all the research about children is moving from one home to another can be traumatic. And even the youngest age, they cannot articulate it but it's a challenge for them. And so anything you can do to help make the move easier for children as an industry, I'm going to encourage you guys to do. We created this little checklist to make it actually fun for kids in making the move. We actually created an actual full guide beyond just the one thing, telling kids how to get excited about this new experience so they're not getting upset. And this is actually the guide going in great detail. And I'll tell you something else that's powerful. If you're working with a buyer or seller that has children and you give them something like this to show them that you care, that's in another credibility. So you're not just making a difference in children's lives, but you're showing that the client that you're empathetic and you're committed to serving and not just selling. So let me just move on. Let's move on. A new homeowner checklist. That's another little value added piece. First time buyers. So we just have so much for students to customize, but you all should find some pieces that you can give to buyers or to sellers when you're doing your open houses. There's just so much. Oh, I do want to point this one out though. The 184 things an agent does for their business. This is I tell actually agents to read this before you go into a listing appointment, so you get motivated. After you read this, you'll be like, geez, I think I'm going to raise my fee. So I told you guys, the lab coat folks, you see that website at the bottom, the trial? If you go there, that's one of the things you get for that $5 trial thing that we got going. So you're going to probably, to me, that's worth $47 right there. Okay. Oh, we're on number 2. How are we doing on time? My goodness. Let's hurry up. We're going to talk a little faster. Promoting your open houses is this. Number 1, using social media to promote your open house. Promote it to a community Facebook page. Meaning, in your market, there's probably a closed Facebook group like Catherine. I don't know. What do you got? Because you work the Miami market, yes?
Yes, I have some mom Facebook groups, and then I have some local neighborhood Facebook groups.
So those local neighborhood groups that you work and list and sell, you promote your open house there, for example. I know you use social media so great. That's why I asked you to be on that Risk Media CEO Exchange, which is happening tomorrow. Thank you again for that. All your pages, any page that you have, any platform you have, promote your open house when you're out there. Do 3-part. I'm going to give you a little, my opinion, how to market on social media. You do a post a few days before the open house, create the buzz, say, hey, come to my open house on this date, see you there. Then you do it the day before the open house. Hey, reminder, tomorrow I'm going to be here, bah, 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 bah. And then the third one, the day of the open house. And what you could do is you take your phone and you do a little live. I know some of you, you're freaking out about. It's okay to be a little sloppy with the live, saying, I'm here at 1010 Hana, getting ready. We're blowing up balloons. And you give a little teaser tour of just the first floor. Catherine, I saw you do that at an open house. You teased the hell out of me. I wanted to see the second floor. You didn't show the second floor. And now I wanted to go after seeing that. So that gave me that idea, Catherine. That was brilliant. All right. Post it in your MLS, of course, your open house. Upload your photos to MLS with open house information. Oh, I love this. Check this out. This is brilliant. Come on. You know how you post your photos on MLS? Have one of the photos be a little signage promoting your open house the day and time. Oh, this is good. Now, when people go into the MLS, they see that sign. Now, some of you, your MLS has different rules about what you can and can't do, but that's my suggestion there. Door knock flyers and a neighborhood market report certificate. You should be knocking on doors, dropping the flyers, that kind of stuff. It also attached to that, encouraging homeowners to get a neighborhood market report, which is getting a CMA, but I call it, we teach power agents to call it a neighborhood market report for 2 reasons. Number 1, it sounds different than a CMA. And number 2, I think people understand more when they hear neighborhood market report. It makes more sense. CMA civilians don't quite get it, what it means. Use slide broadcast to broadcast voicemails to leads, past clients, telling them that you're going to be doing this open house. For those of you taking notes, some of you weren't, now you wish you were, I bet. Write that down. Slide broadcast. Slide broadcast is a way that you can actually record a message and it dials all these phone numbers and it leaves the message on their voicemail. It doesn't make their phone ring, goes direct to voicemail. So that way you're not annoying people with a broadcasted, they answer, hello, hi, this is Darryl, go right to voicemail. Email your list, whatever list you got. Email everybody on your list about your open house. Use a raffle to boost attendance. Have somebody sponsor it, like a mortgage person, loan officer, whatever. Invite other agents who have sold similar homes in the last 12 months to your open house. I'd have Catherine, if I were in Miami, I have her on speed dial. Catherine, I have another house I'm doing. Come by, come see me. Let's have some food. I got tomatoes on mozzarella and balsamic vinegar. It's delicious.
You gotta have pizza, otherwise I don't show up.
What's that?
You gotta have pizza, otherwise I don't.
I was gonna say, what am I talking about? Mozzarella and tomato. Come on, I got pizza for you. You funny girl. Promotion for aggressively priced properties. Hold all showings and offers until the open house. Yeah. So just an idea, just this extra tip. If you've got a listing that is going to sell in 24 hours, maybe make an announcement telling everybody that we're going to be holding all the showings or holding all offers until after the open house. You gang it. If your market is still super hot, don't lose an open house on a listing. An open house is an opportunity for you to generate more business. So don't sell your house before that open house is my point. Now we're up to presentation. How are we doing on time? Okay, good. I think we're good now. Caught up a little bit. Presentation means the day of the open house, right? So we talked about preparing, promoting. Now we're talking about presentation the day of the open house. Gather there early and turn all the lights on. Hi, Catherine, you're probably sitting there. Why is he saying something so basic?
Because a lot of people don't do it.
What the heck is wrong? Every time I would walk into an open house and I see the agent showing up late or they don't turn the lights on. Catherine, I swear to you, as God is my witness, I went to an open house and the agent was turning the lights on as I was touring. And as we left the room, Catherine, you know what they did during the open house? They turned it off. They turned the lights off.
Oh my God.
If any of you have seen new construction, what do they do with new construction?
They leave it on 24/7.
Not only that, but if you, the agents go next to new construction, go to a house. I want you to count how many hi-hats are in that house. I'll bet you in one, there'll be like 50 hi-hats, and that'll be in one room. There's something about light, brightness, positive energy. So keep the lights on, for crying out loud. Make sure you have a checklist of what to bring, your yard sign, your flags, your property brochures, Bluetooth speakers. If you need a little music, you have your own little music that you want to bring. I like Sonos Move. It's a little expensive, but Sonos Move is the Bluetooth that I got. It's great when barbecue and stuff. Great sound. Anyway, have a checklist up. Oh, this is Catherine. I don't know if you've seen me teach this. I love this idea, darling. So came up with this idea. What you do is you have a promotional file about your listing, and you put it on a flash drive, a USB flash drive. And so every buyer that comes, you give them a flash drive. Now you'll see like the remakes, I got a key and they got the little logo, and you give it to every buyer that comes and you tell them there's a little brochure about this property. Now you could also put on there a video of you. It's for those of you that have promotional videos, a link to your website. So you can do a whole branded bada bing thing on the USB drive. Catherine, do we love this idea?
I love this idea. I also have another idea. I don't know if you're using that already.
Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
I do in those also plastic little things like holders. I put QR codes around the house, and then people scan the QR code and has the same data like the USB drive, and they can only access it if they sign in. Okay,
let me see. A QR code. Well, look what I have here, Catherine. A QR code generator. So what I did, this thing over here, if you all will write down this site, QR-code-generator. This one, not only do they create a QR code for you, but they will actually give you promotional flyer. Like there's other things that once you upload the files, they give you marketing material to help already designed with the QR code, and you just file and print. So anyway, see at the bottom there, it says business cards, flyers, brochures. So once you generate that QR code, you can actually order some of those other things for you all in the one spot. So you see, great minds think alike, Catherine.
Oh my God.
So here what I did is I wrote this script, open house intro video script. Hi, my name is you're about to watch a video, one of our top listings. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for your time. If you're interested in this listing or any of our other properties, please keep this in mind for the benefits of being in and out of homes every day. But I'm more than happy to discuss your needs. Also, I have a 6-step buying. In other words, I wrote a script, Catherine, that power agents or agents can record this little opening video that would be at the front end of the virtual tour of the house, which would go on that QR code site or on that key thing. And the video, though, we wrote it in such a way that it's generic. So you'll record it once and then you can put it on the front end of every one of your listings. Do you like this? Is this good?
I love that.
Okay.
Saves a lot of time.
Saves a lot of time. Stream an open house in your neighborhood closed group. So when you do the open house, if you have a partner at the open house, somebody you pay somebody like, here's $100. Take my phone and just stand there and stream it and have the people coming in, and you can talk to the camera a little bit. So you just stream the whole thing. So you have your own little camera person there that walks around like that during the open house, or at least part of it. Now, if nobody's coming to the open house, don't do that, because that will be bad advertising. Say, I'm standing here. There's no one here. Please come.
Pay some extras.
What's that?
Pay some extras.
Yeah. Pay some extras. Put an ad on backstage. Get $5. Be an extra. Come to my open house. I need to fill it.
Non-union.
Yeah, non-union. That's right.
Great exposure.
Great. That's right. Yeah, we're not paying you, but it's good for your reel.
Great food. Cereal.
Yeah, great food. That's right. But you got to drive yourself. Must have call. Have 2 people manage the open house with you. And the reason why you want to do this is, especially in a COVID world, if you decide, I think this is a better plan, even with COVID, not COVID, is the old way of doing open houses. People all just came in and you're like, where the hell, where's that person? And especially if it's busy. What I like, even in a post-COVID world, is having people stand outside and you let them in one at a time. One person will tour them, another person is a greeter. And the reason why I like that is because when you have a line out the door around the corner for your open house, what are all those other neighbors thinking? They're looking out the window. So what the, is there a death over there? What's going on? And, they're selling the house. This is a hot market. Maybe, Bernice, maybe we should sell. Look what's happening across the street. In other words, it generates real estate interest. That is great advertisement right there, ladies and gents. Of course, you do an open house sign-in sheet. You can do digital. I like paper. And then, so we created that for our students. This is another one. Give this to people on a clipboard while they're waiting outside. Here's the idea. So if you have that line out the door and you have a greeter, the greeter can have clipboards and have people fill in this contact information. People always ask, Catherine, how do you get buyers to sign in? Do you have them do after, before, how they give you honest information? I'm telling you something, when you got a line out the door, psychologically, people think, well, if I don't fill this in, they ain't going to let me in. So let me fill out and give the real information. So you'll actually capture more lead information that way. Catherine, do you not like this picture over here? Look at this, the cat, the dog. Look at the dog's blue eyes. Is that not the most beautiful animals you ever saw? All right. Presentation. Make sure the seller and pets are away. God forbid, whoa, somebody gets out the door. You're going to have a problem. If my cats got out of the way, I would hurt somebody. Remove the vehicles from the driveway. Make it easy for people. Think builder staging. I said that earlier. What do builders do? All the lights on. Did I say that before? Notice I said it again. No smelly spray. Some people are allergic to that. So don't think you're being smart, making it smell pretty. But don't maybe not even have your perfume on, because some of you, your perfume, oh, it's a little.
You can have a candle on. I always have a candle on.
Well, I think a candle, especially if it's a soy candle, has a subtle fragrance, I think is good. but some of the sprays that could be very, and especially the perfume. Some ladies, Catherine, you know, they something that smells like from the 80s. Ugh. So be careful. Some people listen. I don't know where I can't, you know, it's like you can tell they smell old. Plus, some people are allergic to the smell. I mean,
I didn't say that. You know, if I would say that about olds, it would come the wrong way.
That's right. You that's just well, this will be my last lab coat webinar. That's gonna get a call from Tristan. Darryl, you're done. Music. Play some nice music. Not for them, but for you, because you're going to be stuck there for 4 hours. So you need to pass the time.
Yep.
You know, I don't know if I have to say this, but please don't be doing other work at an open house. You know, some people say, you know, it's good time to have some downtime to do some of your work. If somebody walks in and don't be present, focus. All right. Remove personal photos. Ask the client just to take away personal photos, to hide them in the drawer. It's a good idea. Lock up the valuables. One house, I got to tell you, I instinctively, there's one house, Catherine, we were this close to buying. And so we went to it twice. The first time I was walking through I don't know what inspired me, but I took a drawer and I opened the drawer. I want to test the drawer. I don't know why. It was almost a knee-jerk thing. I just grabbed the drawer and out popped money, like hundreds of dollars, because it was stuffed the drawer. I'm like, whoa, these people, they got money. They got stuffed the bills in the kitchen drawer. I was really embarrassed. I was afraid to touch it, but I had to touch it to push it back into the drawer. And do you know, son of a gun, the second time when I toured the house, I opened up the same damn drawer and the thing happened again. Oh, gee, why did I do that? It was very, very interesting moment.
I have a quick story about that. I had 4 open houses at a house, and then a day before closing, the seller called me and said, Catherine, I need the key real quick. I need to get back into the house. I said, why? Turns out they had under the boards of the floor $1 million in cash. And I said to him, dude, like I held 4 open houses here and you didn't mention any of that?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I would have told him. I said, don't worry, I'll get it for you.
It's just a little bit missing the rat.
Yeah, I'll go there like, oh, somebody took it already. You should have told me sooner. So make sure the fine china is not going to get damaged, I guess is the point there. Oh, no. That's not what that is. Sorry. Rewind. One of the things I've seen done I like a lot is the dining room table. Actually decorate the dining room table with the fine china, like you're staging the house, like you would like any builder. So put out the fine china, put out the nice bedspread, not the one that they've been using for the past 25 years that the dog has been chewing. Change the sheets. Okay. Presentation, stock the refrigerator. If it's a vacant property, don't stock it with food, or in Catherine's case, it would be cold pizza. But I'm thinking, especially like in Miami, Florida, where, you know, it's like the temperature is now 150 degrees no, on a cool day. So make sure you hydrate people and stock it like that, because they need it, especially in Florida. Put away your phone for Christ. I've seen my guy, I can't believe people answered excuse me, let me just, whoa. So you disrespect the buyer like that, don't do that. Have one neighborhood report to encourage them to request it to be emailed to them. Yeah. This is a brilliant idea. So if let's say you had some kind of report about the neighborhood or about the house, like there's a report about the house, and you show them the flip to it, you want to kind of show it to me and say, oh, can I get a copy of that? You know, I only have the one, but I'll make sure I'll email it to you. Do I have your email address in case they didn't fill it out before, or they gave you the wrong one? Now you get a more accurate one. So something like that. RPR, that's the neighborhood report. The RPR, those of you that are not familiar with it, for shame, if you're a realtor, you should know about RPR. It is a free service. It's part of you being an NAR member. It is the bomb. It is awesome. It does so much great content in there. It's all different reports. Please learn it, use it. We push it with our power agents because it's such a value-added thing of being a member. And you can do an RPR report on your open house, and it could be 40 pages long. You can impress people and say, yeah, I'll email it to you. Let me skip over this. but,
It
but,
makes
but,
you
but-
look super smart, even if you're not. But make sure that you also review the market report, because if they have questions, you sound like you know what you put in the report.
Great added thing you just said there, Catherine. Be safe, be safe, be safe. We know, unfortunately, we've heard of horror stories in our business. That's why it's good to do open houses with somebody else as well. But we researched some companies because I was worried about our students. Medical Guardian, because it has a little, it's supposed to be for, the market they promote in case somebody gets hurt, older person. But you can use this even for yourself. There's some other, this Medical Guardian, they have a watch version. So like somebody wouldn't even know maybe that you're actually doing it. And that's obviously not a watch that I would wear every day, but if I were going to do an open, well, it looks similar to my Apple Watch, but I would swap out my watch with that one. And guys too, it's not you guys, there's been stories about men getting hurt at open houses. So by unnice people. So there's a couple of different. Mobile Help is another company that we looked into. I like theirs as well. This Bay Alarm Medical is a third one that we found, which is really good. Just press the button, bada bing. You have it in your pocket, like nice. So make believe you are being recorded. Yes, because you might be. So don't be showing up, right? Am I right, Captain? Don't be going through the house and say, yes, this. Now I know it smells like they have 10 dogs, but because they do, but don't worry, you can fumigate after they move out. Like, because make believe you're being recorded. Hire a drone company to fly a banner. No, I love this idea.
Oh my God, can a drone company do that? Oh,
yes, that's what I love. Look at this. You can fly your open house banner. What's that, Catherine?
No, I'm just talking to my partner agent. I'm like, I had no idea.
Yes.
That drones do that.
Yes, they put an ad, you fly it around the house, say, come here, open house. I mean, if you're driving around, what the hell is that? That's going to bring people in. Forget about my other idea, hanging signs. Who is this? Who is that?
This is Amaryllis. Amaryllis, this
Hi,
is
darling. How are you?
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Amazing, right?
Wow.
So there's another picture. Stay right there. Watch this. Look at this one. There's another one.
Oh.
But watch this. Here, this is, I think, my favorite one coming up. This is a little crazy. It's a headless man. So I wouldn't do that one. Can you imagine if they had a realtor's logo on saying there's a realtor flying over the house? I wouldn't do this
You
one.
could use my avatar.
Yeah.
That's right. Your avatar hanging from your hair. There you go, Catherine, you smart woman there. All right. So that's it on the drone thing. I love that idea. Ask discovery questions when buyers come through. What brings you folks out today? How long have you been looking? Have you made any offers on anything? So these are questions you should be asking buyers as you're showing them the house. And let's go down to the next thing. Post open house. So now we're going to finish up the open house in 7 minutes. What do you do after the open house? You send a text. If the house didn't work, you have other houses they might be interested in. So every buyer that comes through, you just can send them a simple text saying, hey, thanks for coming to the open house. If this house doesn't work for you, we have other houses as well. We wrote some sample texts. We don't have time to go through all these, but thanks for stopping by on Sunday. I wanted to check and see if you have any questions about them. But also, I thought I'd share a few other similar properties to sell in the area. I'd be happy to set up appointments, So a little follow-up text. And there's more here. We don't have time. Let's skip this. Let's jump right to the next tip that I have for you. Post open house. Where am I? Here we go. So send the text. If the house didn't work, you have other houses for them. Use the multiple offer spreadsheet if necessary, meaning if you get an offer on that house and you have more than one open offers, one of the things that we did is create an Excel spreadsheet. I'll show you guys in a second. This over here is how to deal with multiple offers. It's just an e-guide. It's part of what you guys get on that $5 bonus for the LabCoat folks. But this is the spreadsheet I was talking about. It shows, excuse me, that, let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah. It shows other criteria to look at. So it's not just the price for a homeowner, right? It's other things like what's their net going to be? What's the buyer's down payment? What type of mortgage are they going for? What's the debt closing deadline? Is there any contingencies? So part of what you want to do when you're sitting down with your seller, when you're on the seller side and you have multiple offers, Having a spreadsheet like this really helps unconfuse them. Keep something in mind, ladies and gents. You and I are eating, sleep, and drinking real estate 24/7. For a lot of us, a lot of these terms and things are second nature. If you just throw out 3 offers, you know which is the best one. But for a homeowner, it can actually become overwhelming, confusing. So printing it out so they can learn at their own pace, which, by the way, that $5 thing, you get that spreadsheet and that customer. So if you made the LabCoat, go to that trial site there, because that's the benefit there. Follow-up calls to everyone. So one of the things you should do is follow up with a phone call. Hi, the reason why I'm calling is thank you so much for stopping by my open house. Blah, blah, blah. This house, if you remember, was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, blah, blah, blah. If that's the style or price range you're looking at, there's some new listings that came on the market. They're real awesome. Is this the style you were looking at? So you want to do those follow-up calls, and don't be surprised if they don't like that house. So you want that house. So that's why you want to be ready to talk about other houses. Because if they really like that house, what would they have done? They would have told you. They would have put an offer in. So you want to be, you don't want to lose them. You got that lead. You want to say, hey, but I got others. All right. And that's the whole point in that dialogue. And you should also make sure that you schedule time to meet with those buyers in person and go through a process. We teach the 6-step buying process, but what you want to do is have that buyer and convert them from a customer to a client. A customer is you're not committed to working with them. You're committed to the seller side, but when they're a client, they sign a buyer agency, they hired you. So you want to get that from them. When you turn them into a buyer's agent, one of the things that I suggest that you do is you give buyers this kind of thing we create for our students. I'm currently working with an agent as their buyer's client. Thank you for the opportunity to view this property for sale. Should you have any questions, feel free to contact my agent. So basically what you're saying here is you're giving this to your buyers, and you're saying, listen, if you ever go, when they hire you as a buyer's agent, and you say, listen, if you go to an open house with another agent, make sure you give that agent this certificate telling them that I'm your agent, right? That I'm working for you. Now, what's really cool about this idea is it helps the listing agent not waste their time with people. That's number one. Number two is it's actually like every time a buyer gives this to another agent after they've hired you, it's almost like they're recommitting to you that they signed with you. And it's almost like a wedding ring. It's like you go to a bar and somebody talks to you, no, I'm married, stay away. So it's like that with the certificate. It's like, I have an agent. Don't try and hit on me. I'm not available. Okay. So anyway, what time is it? Whoa, we got 3 minutes to spare. How did we do with that, Catherine? Did we do okay?
Well, I think that was a really, really great class.
Okay, good. Whew. Out of breath now. Do we have any questions that came in on the chat? Or you're such a good moderator, because behind my back, you're like answering chat questions. You're so good when I love it. Is there any questions that we should address that people have?
No, I think so far so good. Somebody asked about some of the slides, and I directed them to your website. I mean, there's so much content on his website. It will take you more than a lifetime to read all of that. There is so much stuff. I also love all your event planning pages and slides. They're really great. We're gonna do some of those. The drive-in movie theater. I'm working on that right now. So I think now, is there any other questions? Now is last chance. We have like 2 more minutes.
And what I'll do, by the way, I'll tell people, if you go to that site, hang on, when you go to darrylspeaks.com/trial, and again, it's $5 for 30 days and you become a power agent, and then you get all those bonuses. But one of the things I'll make sure we give you, it'll say at the top who referred you. If you write LabCoat, I'll make sure that you get a copy of these slides. So if you've already signed up while I was talking, I'll tell my team, anybody that signed up in this hour, they're LabCoat person. The rest of you, make sure you put in LabCoat and we'll send you a copy of my slides from this, okay? So, but any other questions? Does anybody else have any questions about open houses or anything about anything? Like, do I think global warming is real? It is, by the way. Any other questions?
I think
Nothing? All right. Well, that's it. That gives me
Thank
31
you so
minutes.
much, Darryl, for your time. Really appreciate it.
Catherine, it is always a pleasure. I'm going to say it again. y'all make sure that you follow Catherine Rain. She is a top agent, and she still finds the time to squeeze in something like this just to help facilitate and give back to our industry. She's a powerful woman, mother, agent, wife. She has so much to give to the world, and it's wonderful to always spend an hour with you, Catherine.
Thank you. I feel the same. It's the highlight of my month.
That's very sweet. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Make it a great
Take care.
day.
Stay safe. Keep
Thank you.
smiling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.